Well, throughout May, Ukraine and especially Kiev has been suffering from hostile strikes of barrage ammunition, drones and missiles. The enemy is trying to hit infrastructure targets and possibly concentrations of military equipment. However, with all this, Russia seems to forget that such games can be played both ways. As Vladimir Putin himself once said, if you guys remember, necessary military equipment can be bought at any military shop. Well, it appears that it happened just now, as the city of Moscow has been attacked with barrage ammunitions. I'm Maria Druzga, and in this vlog I will tell you how drones attacked Moscow. And before we start, I would really appreciate if you can like this video, subscribe to the channel, as this will help me with an algorithm and allow more people to learn truthful and objective information. So what do we have for today? In the morning, the city of Moscow and its suburbs was attacked with barrage ammunitions, and according to various sources, the attack was carried out by drones, ranging from 8 to 25 in numbers, and I think even to 32, because there are no precise information about it, as different sources provide different data, but judging by available video confirmations, there could have been, well, at least a dozen. Witnesses at the scene heard the sounds of explosions and recorded missile launches from various anti-aircraft missile systems on videos. And I would like to express a big thanks to Russian citizens for this, as exact coordinates of the Russian air defense forces are very important for us. Thank you. So what about damaged targets, you will ask? Well, I will start with important remark. It seems that drones themselves were not filled with explosives or with large quantity of explosives, and their warheads could not cause critical damage to any military or infrastructure targets or hit basically a significant amount of enemy personnel. But we will return to this later. So the barrage ammunitions itself flew quite low, which is completely justified, as low altitude allows easy passage through the enemy's air defense zone, although in such case the probability of drone hitting a tall building increased significantly, which we could see actually in Moscow, when some drones flew into balconies and walls of residential buildings. And as reported by Moscow authorities, there were no casualties due to this drone attack, and property damage was minimal. But only a portion of the drones was destroyed like this, while other drones were taken down by Russian air defense, which covered important objects in the Moscow region. For example, some of the drones were downed in the area of Novo-Agarevo, where Vladimir Putin's residence is located, and other drones were destroyed in Barvikha area. It's this elite settlement near the Rublevo-Uspenskaya highway, where top Russian officials and very rich important people and businessmen live. So now let's get back to the drones themselves, as this is important. One of the barrage ammunitions flew into an apartment in a high-rise building, but did not detonate. And later, from the scene of these events, a number of photos appeared in the social media with the drones inside these things, and presumably after, of course, the sappers had worked on that. So the Warhead was a Soviet-made KZ-6. By the way, the Russians themselves use similar charges in their barrage ammunitions called Lancet, which is mainly used to target equipment and big weapons. Therefore, the present Warhead, despite all of the potential, will not be able to cause significant damage, unlike, for example, the hypothetical Shahid type of drones. Then the question is next. Why did these unknown people launch these drones at Moscow? Well, firstly, it is a heavy blow to Russian authorities, since Moscow was least at last time attacked during the Second World War, and now there are sounds of explosions and working of air defense. And you know, last week some Russians liberated a part of the Belgorod region from Putin's regime, and today Moscow is attacked and Russian propagandists are forced to scream that everything is fine. You know, everything is fine. The second reason is more practical. Well, these good unknown people are testing certain technologies that were supposed to bypass enemies' air defense and reach their targets. And if technology shows itself well, working well, then the work will continue with it, basically refining it and creating a relatively simple but at the same time effective product for long-range targeting of various enemies' objects. And the third reason is very straightforward: detection of enemy air defense position, of course, and degrading the same enemy's air defense. Well, the second largest army in the world not only failed to destroy all the drones on approach, but also allow them to freely reach the enemy's capital. This is another slap at the face of Russian military political leadership, of course. And the fourth reason, and it's not the most obvious but very intriguing. Most likely some important events are looming, during which the Russian army will once again get fucked. And such events, such strikes make enemy forces nervous and make them make mistakes. And this can't help, of course, but it's bringing so much joy. This is Maria Druska. Please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave your comment. What do you think actually might have happened, and which version do you think is more applicable and related to this? And I see you in the next video. Ukraine will prevail, and Slava Ukraini!